Hello, my name is Les and I'm the Monster Painter. And today I'm going to show you my simple method for painting marble ruins for your tabletop game. I hope it's fun. Right, so my buddy Dave went and he bought some 3D printed columns from a local shop, I believe the Silver Snail, and he gave them to me. Now I'm going to use these 3D printed pillars to show you my simple method. And hopefully you'll have some fun painting up some ruined marble pillars for your tabletop. Okay, the first step is always the most boring. I'm gonna prime these fellas up. I like to use straightforward gesso. I used to be a easel painter, and so I kind of haven't changed my ways. But yeah, we're just gonna casually brush a nice coat of gesso onto this pillar. I like to prime all the stuff I do. I mean, this thing, you could probably get away with it. It's got quite there's a bit of texture on the surface, and it's always these 3D printed miniatures or 3D printed models always, to me, feel like they would, you know, they're prepared to grab the paint, so you probably get away with it. But I always feel like anything worth painting is worth priming. And so even just a little thin coat like that. We got one done. And so we got the other one to go. Looks to be a Corinthian style, or no, is it Corinthian? No, those are the ones with this is an Ionian pillar. Ionian pillar, so it's would be, I guess, potentially from the earlier Greek period, the classical period, when heroes and legendary men ran around the world being the Aegean Sea, doing mighty feats, fighting monsters. Battle of Troy. I guess that's a bit before, but anyway, yep, we're just gonna prime up, and as you can see, takes it well. Isn't taking a particularly lengthy amount of time. It's a pretty simple, straightforward piece of terrain, this pillar. Oh my gosh. You know, whenever I prime, I always get my hands covered in gesso. Yep, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna go wash my hands, and we're gonna leave those to dry. All right, they're all primed up, ready to paint. So the next step is gonna be really simple. Paint them dark brown, the whole thing. Nice coat of, come on. A nice coat of brown. Oh, let's see here. Maybe that'll help. There we go. Nice coat of dark brown. This is not the kind of thing that you really need a tutorial on. Painting coats of dark brown. Pretty simple. All right then, the next crucial step is we're going to be dry brushing some, in this case, unbleached titanium, but any kind of off-white will do, you know, light marbly colors. And dry brushing, so, you know, just a little bit of paint on. And this is we're gonna do it gently and slowly, because it's gonna take a little bit of time to build up to get to the effect that we're looking for. But yeah, I find this a very relaxing process. Ooh, A little too much. Story of my life. Yeah, we're gonna dry brush the whole thing up. Probably a couple of layers of dry brushing till it starts looking like a marble column. And that process is probably going to be a bit too dull to watch. All right, I have them dry brushed up with the white, the off-white. I got to admit, this is not my best bit of dry brushing work, but it more or less works. They more or less look kind of marbly. These cracks, well, the model themselves kind of looks like a giant smushed his finger in and left ridges where the cracks are. We're gonna maybe try to de-emphasize that a little bit. We'll see what we can do. But the next step that I'm gonna do is add a little green moss wash on the bottom. I always like doing that. I think that really gives your terrain a little bit of veracity. And it's a pretty simple thing to do. A little bit of sap green. Yep. And here we go with the wash. Get some water, get the wash going. My brush was a little dirty. That's always okay. A little dirt to cut the extremeness of a color, sharpness. And we're just going to put that wash right on there on the bottom, along the bottom. Shamelessly putting it on. And it's a little light. I'll maybe get that color a little more intense. Yeah, there we go. That was fine. Yeah, a little bit of moss color at the bottom really helps make a bit of terrain look a little more convincing somehow. And we want to kind of soften that top edge so that, because moss doesn't like grow in a manner that it just stops in a hard line, so we want to kind of create a gradation of green, and we'll just let the power of gravity and the paint do that up. Yeah, I gotta admit, I am not in love with my my dry brushing here tonight, folks. Oh well, what do you do? Better luck next time. I might, I'm considering putting a black wash on the whole thing to kind of cover my shame, but I'll decide after this green wash is in. I might think that I've gotten away with it. Adding that green wash again. I guess I come from a kind of my hometown, or the place I'm living in, Toronto, Ontario, is kind of a damp place, and so one tends to make terrain that reflects the environment you live in, because, well, you know, for it to look natural, it's got to look like what you see. I guess, of course, if we were doing some ruins of North Africa or something, we would not be giving it this bit of mossiness, because that would be silly. That's a dry climate where moss doesn't cling to buildings. Yeah, and so just like that, a little mossy look, and I'll let that dry, and then we'll look at maybe some finishing touches and see what we can do to improve the slightly sloppy dry brush that I did. I'm gonna use a little ivory black wash, and I'm gonna see if I can sort out a couple of little problems that I have with this model, make it a little prettier. So we're just gonna mix up a nice black wash using some dirty paint water, my favorite thinning medium. Dirty paint water, available at all your finer paint studios. Right, so some of the problem I have I don't like these little little ridges along where the cracks are. So I'm going to try to de-emphasize those, and maybe a little bit on the cracks, and then a touch more on any spots that got a little too heavily covered. Although in the dry brushing, though, you know, I had them kicking around the apartment a couple of days, and I'm liking them more than I did when I first got them. So they're not, the dry brushing wasn't such a unfortunate job. All right, this might be a little bit harder than I would like it to be. We're just gonna add a little bit of black into these crack forms that are on the model. Now, of course, with other, you know, painting other bits of ruined marble, you won't have to bother with this. This is just a idiom of the particular piece. It's a 3D printed model, and sometimes those can be kind of funny. But hey, my buddy gave it to me. He didn't make me pay for it, so I ain't complaining. Yeah, we're gonna try to. Don't know how well that's working. These cracks, the ridges that they put on these cracks really grabbed the dry brush, and I don't know why they included them, but we got to do something about them because they bugging the heck out of me. I just don't like. Looks like a giant mushed his finger through some wet peanut butter sculpture or peanut butter pillar, and that's just silly. As we all know, the ancient Greeks did not build their pillars out of peanut butter. They didn't have access to peanut butter at the time. All the pillars had to be made out of Marmite. I know, it's a horrifying thought. But we should be thankful for the wonderful age that we live in, that we can sort out the problems. Yeah, this one's, I'm going straight for the more heavy-duty black. Soften that a little bit. Too much. Yeah, I think we're getting there. These will certainly end up being tabletop ready. And again, you know, most bits of terrain won't have this little peculiar little flaw in its design. Okay, that's a little better. Oh, there's a guy on the back. Don't forget the back crack. That won't do. Everything needs a back crack. There, that should suffice. There we go. I think that helps take care of the little detail issue that I was having anyway. Yeah, sometimes, you know, model painting, you can get away with things, and sometimes you really gotta be attentive to the details. And a little extra touches can make a big difference. And if you're like me, you know, sometimes problems, no matter how nice the model is or anything, a little flaw can just drive you crazy. It can be distracting, or can cause you to just not enjoy the model at all. Yeah, see, little funny little ridge of material on these where the cracks occur, and I'm not quite sure what the designer was thinking, but I am definitely, oh, there we go. Yeah, more there. Paint moved around a bit. So a little bit there, yeah. I think, what's going on there? Oh, I really did slop up there when I bumped it. Oh well, that's all taken care of. Okay, and I think we're gonna call these done. We're gonna let them dry and take one last look at them. Here the pillars, the finished pillars are in their natural habitat. A ruined city, frozen for 1,000 years. And whoop, they look like they're doing the job. They're fitting in pretty well. I wonder which wizard's gonna get the treasure. There you have it, folks. My simple method for painting ruined marble terrain. I gotta say, I think the results were pretty good. But what do you think? Was this a useful video? Did you enjoy it? Was it entertaining? If so, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. If you think I need to take a tutorial on how to do tutorials, or you want to tell me about how wet palettes have changed your life and could change mine too, please leave a comment in the comment section. I look at them and I always like to get them. Until next time, I'm Les, and my name is Les, and I'm the Monster Painter.